Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
What is going on, guys? How you guys all doing tonight? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and I am actually out here in my living room as I just did a live stream for an AEW Japan Pro Wrestling's Forbidden Door match, and I got a little bit of a second win. Was starting to get a little tired during the live reaction, but I got a little bit of a second win. So tonight's been about me trying to get caught up on some topic videos I've been wanting to do for a while. Well, I've had some baseball topics I wanted to discuss. Then I'm going to try to get caught up now. Now, the biggest one, of course, is just a couple of injuries I want to talk about. Since the start of this season, because my time is a lot more limited, I feel like it's best that instead of just doing like all these little minor topics, I decided to talk about just like the bigger ones, the bigger names, the bigger topics that, you know, are a little more talk about rather than just like these random minor league transactions when it comes to the baseball news. But these 6 injuries are 6 of the bigger injuries we've had so far this season. One of them, though, actually just got reinstated from the injured list this past Friday. So we'll talk about him first, actually, and that is Xander Bogaerts for the San Diego Padres, their shortstop. He had been out since late May after he had he broke his shoulder. He was already off to a rough start, batting .219 this season. Hopefully, you know, having a healthier bounce back in the second half of the season. But yeah, he had been out since late May, and that caused, of course, some shuffling around with the Padres defense as they are just loaded with talent, and moved Jake Cronenworth over to second base. I believe Luis Arraez was at first base, but now, of course, with Bogaerts being back, he's moving Cronenworth back to first base, and Arraez is most likely going to be moved back to designated hitter spot. Of course, there is Donovan Solano as well, who has been swinging a decent bat since his contract had been selected from the minor leagues, from his minor league deal. Hopefully, Bogaerts can get back on track, back to all-star form, but he is back after being out with a broken shoulder recently. One person that's not sulky, this is probably the biggest injury news from the past few months to get caught up on, is reigning National League MVP Ronald Acuna Jr. Back on May 26th against the Pirates, I guess he was taking a leadoff second base, but then when he faked a possible steal attempt with a move towards third base, his left leg just twisted and gave out on him, and he fell to the ground in obvious pain. He claims he did not feel a pop in it because this is the second ACL injury that Acuna's had in his career. The first one he had back around the All-Star break in 2021, which led him to miss the remainder of the season and I think the first month of the 2022 season. But of course, he was not at form and struggled a little bit in the 2022 season. But unfortunately, he was hoping for it just to be like a meniscus tear or something like that. He'd be out for like a month. Unfortunately, though, that was not the case. He did, in fact, tear his ACL yet again for the second time in his career. So, he is probably going to be... He got injured in May. He probably will be ready for opening day, but that just sucks for sure. After coming off a career year this past season, winning the National League MVP, getting some numbers like that not too many 5-tool players get to play. Unfortunately, though, he was either way off to a very, very slow start, though, to start the season. Hitting just 246, I think it was just 4 home runs, I believe it was. So he was definitely not on the verge of, you know, retaining his title as the National League MVP. But, again, it still sucks to see that he got hurt and tore his ACL yet again. I've been told many times, knees suck. Especially when he hurt him one time, you could probably hurt them again. Yeah, big blow for sure for the league, is for sure. Of course, the Braves still have a very, very stacked lineup for sure. So they hopefully will have some maneuvering to do and keep on track without Acuna, unfortunately. But speedy recovery and hopefully to have him ready for 2025. But that one really sucks for sure. So the National League Central we're sticking with. Sorry, National League East. The Phillies have been without their catcher, JT Realmuto, since June 11th. He was placed on a 10-day DL with right knee pain, and I believe he did have surgery on his meniscus, which that is usually a 4 to 6 week recovery. Although I am hearing that because, of course, of his recovery, the Phillies may go shopping for another catcher for the upcoming trade deadline in a couple weeks as well. May not hurt, with him coming back from a knee injury. Of course, they need that bat in the lineup, but he may need to take some at bats as designated hitter for sure to keep himself on pace. But the Phillies have been hanging there though, because this happened. They did recently briefly lose Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper due to some minor injuries, but both of them are back in their lineups right before the All-Star break as well. But yeah, so hopefully, of course, Realmuto won't be out for too long. He could be able to come back and help the Phillies contribute. But again, it may not hurt to get another catcher in there. At least they could probably put Realmuto at DH if they need to get a few more at-bats out of him from there to be safe. So there's that one. The Dodgers lost 2 key players recently due to long-term, but hopefully should be back end of July, early August maybe. First one, of course, is Mookie Betts, who was placed on the 10-day injured list back on June 17th because of a fractured hand he had suffered in a game after being hit by a pitch from Dan Altavilla against Kansas City, and he's out for 6 to 8 weeks. Again, he's still been in great form, MVP caliber type player. He's also had a bunch of moving around recently. He was formerly an outfielder, but they've been giving him more time in the middle of the infield at shortstop and second base. I think the plan is to keep him at shortstop, though, when he does get back from his injury, as he's been adjusting very well for the Dodgers there. Of course, he was on the verge of some, of course, MVP numbers as well for sure, but he was hitting .304 with 10 home runs and 331 trips to the plate. And he has walked 14.5% of his at-bats so far this season, struck out just 10% as well. So not too bad, of course, for the MVP caliber player Betts, but the Dodgers will have him without him probably until the end of the month or hopefully early August. The second player, though, is coming momentarily, but first, the Yankees lost Anthony Rizzo for quite a bit of time, as he was placed on the 60-day disabled list back on June the 19th. He was injured earlier that week when he attempted to run a ground ball, and then I guess him and Dominic Smith bumped into each other, which resulted in Rizzo falling to the ground and landing awkwardly. And reports showed that Rizzo was diagnosed with a fractured radial neck in his right arm. And he said the timetable for his return could be 8 weeks. So he's also looking roughly towards the end of July. Of course, also with him being in the last year of his contract right now, apparently even though the Yankees, of course, are strongly on top, there have been some talks in possibly trading him for some bigger market players. He definitely is having a down year, batting just .223, but there could be a chance they may make a move on him at the trade deadline. We'll have to wait and see. Kind of like in the same position when Rizzo first came over from the Cubs a couple years ago, when former shortened seasoned home run leader Luke Voit, my boy Luke Voit, who unfortunately will never get back to form like that again, was injured, and they acquired Rizzo to fill the void. But it sounds like Rizzo may be in that same boat. And he is starting to get up there. Let's put it that way. His age, I can't remember how old he is, but he's definitely in his, mid-30s now. So he doesn't have really a lot of time left, and he's definitely on a little bit of the decline. But, yeah, he'll be back by the end of July. Will he still be a Yankee, though? We will have to wait and see. And the last one. For the Dodgers, we have Max Muncy, who is injured as well with an oblique strain. He has suffered a setback, though, and transferred to the 60-day injury list. The plan is hopefully he will be back by the end of July as well. Hopefully that'll be the case, as I think this is the second year in a row Muncy's had some injuries as well. He's starting up there. He was kind of consistently hitting the mid-30s for home runs, being a contributing player to the Dodgers, not just with the power, but also can play a lot of positions in the infield. He's bounced around between first, second, and third base. I believe he's settled more so at third base since they brought over Freddie Freeman. But yeah, another big blow for the Dodgers, but they're still hanging in there. Hopefully they'll be back to full strength soon with both Mookie Betts and Max Muncy returning to their lineup. And that, guys, that is my brief thoughts on some 6 injuries that have recently taken place. The bigger names in baseball. Again, most of them will probably be back soon. Again, Xander Bogaerts just came back for the Padres. Ronald Acuna Jr., though, is out for the entire rest of the season, though, with that ACL injury. Hopefully he'll have a bounce-back year when he gets back in 2025. So, guys, those are my thoughts on some injuries. Where are you guys' thoughts on these recent MLB injuries? What other ones did I discuss that you, of course, have noticed? Leave your guys' thoughts again down in the comment section below. Be sure also, as always, to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Again, I'm taking a break from Instagram and Twitter right now, but I should be activating those again very soon. You may also follow me, though, on TikTok at the Club with the Man 1993. And as always, guys, stay tuned for some more baseball news. Have a couple more topics to talk about tonight, and I'll catch you guys all later. Have a great rest of your night, and do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. And that is not just an opinion, my friends. That is a fact of life. Yeah!